So for decades, orthodontists relied on messy impression trays of goop that made kids gag and adults cringe. But now digital scanners have entered the scene, promising comfort, accuracy, and speed. So which one actually works better, old impressions or modern scanning? Let's break it down. Hi, I'm Dr. Jeremy Manueli, board-certified orthodontist and dentofacial orthopedist, and I'm glad you're here. Okay, so back in the day, if you were looking into straightening your teeth, impressions were just part of the deal. If you needed braces, a retainer, a mouth guard, or a night guard, you were gonna have to sit through it. Now there were different impression materials like alginate or PVS, and sure, some were better than others, but the bottom line, none of them were comfortable. If the impression tray was overfilled, the goop would slide down the back of your throat and instantly trigger that gag reflex. If it was underfilled, the impression might not capture everything. And guess what? You'd have to redo the entire thing. So it was basically a delicate balancing act. Too much and you're choking, too little and the impression is useless. Pretty much a lose-lose situation. It's kind of like the Goldilocks porridge. Unless that impression putty was just right, you were in for some trouble. But comfort wasn't really the only issue. The real problem? Accuracy. And you didn't know how accurate the impression was until it might be too late. So let's talk about it. On the surface, impressions seemed okay. The doctor could look at it and say, yeah, that looks fine, and then move forward. But the truth is, you didn't really know if it was okay or accurate until you actually used it to make an actual appliance. Imagine baking a cake without knowing if your measuring cups are the right size. You don't know if the recipe worked until it comes out of the oven. And if it flops, you're kind of stuck, starting all over again. That's basically what impressions were like. And sometimes the impressions looked great, but when the retainer or the expander came back from the lab, it wouldn't fit. That meant another appointment, another tray, another round of gagging. Now, if you're seriously considering improving your facial balance and smile, or correcting bite issues the right way, our team at Hamilton and Manueli Orthodontics can help. If you're in Las Vegas, head over to hmortho.com to book an in-person consultation. And if you're not local, go to vegasorthodoc.com. There you can upload your records securely, and we'll review everything together remotely to see what's actually possible for your face and smile. Okay, back to impressions. Once you actually take the impression, the process wasn't over. You still had to pour a stone model, and that came with its own set of headaches. It was a whole process in and of itself, and honestly, pretty fragile. The impression was filled with liquid stone, and if you didn't pour it in just right, you'd get bubbles or weak spots in the stone. Then you had to wait an hour for it to set. And after that, you'd have to carefully separate the stone model from the impression. And this was another danger zone. Models could crack, chip, or break during that separation. And now here's the kicker, you only got one shot. Once you use that stone model to make a retainer, the model was done. Pulling that retainer off the stone model would usually snap the teeth off, so you couldn't reuse it. So if you lost your retainer or broke it, and let's face it, retainers have a magical way of ending up in napkins at restaurants, you were stuck. Back to square one, needing a brand new impression. That's also why retainers were so expensive back in the day. You weren't just paying for the plastic, you were paying for the entire process that had to be redone from scratch every single time. But beyond the technical flaws, let's talk about the patient experience. Because impressions weren't just messy. For many, they were downright miserable. So let's not sugarcoat this. Impressions were miserable. Most kids dreaded it, adults hated it even more. The gagging, the smell of the material, and kind of just feeling stuck as it had to set up. It's something people still tell me about years later. I've had patients joke that they'd rather get a shot at the dentist than go through another impression, and honestly, I can't blame them. The irony is, impressions weren't even that reliable. So not only did you go through that discomfort, but sometimes you had to do it twice. That's like waiting in line at the DMV for 2 hours and finally getting to the counter and then being told you're in the wrong line. Pure frustration. So now fast forward to today. Digital scanners changed the game completely. No mess, no gagging, and the accuracy is on a whole nother level. So when digital scanners first entered the scene, suddenly orthodontics took a giant leap forward. Instead of loading up a tray with putty, now we use a small handheld wand and we just glide it over your teeth, and it captures thousands of images per second. And then it stitches them together into a perfect 3D model of your teeth and your mouth. And here's the best part, it's comfortable. No gagging, no mess, no chemical taste. Patients actually enjoy watching the smile appear on the screen in real time. Kids think it's cool and adults are always impressed. And it's honestly one of the easiest parts of the appointment now. And here's where scanners shine even more. Accuracy isn't just better, it's repeatable. Lose a retainer months later, no problem. With a digital scan, what you see is what you get. If the scan looks complete on the screen, we know it's accurate. There's no guessing. There's no waiting until the retainer comes back from the lab to find out if it fits or not. Plus, that file lives forever, so we can save it, copy it, and use it again whenever we need to. If you lose your retainer 6 months from now, we don't need to rescan you. We just pull up your file, print another model, and make a brand new retainer. It's like having a digital backup of your smile. Imagine that every important document you ever have was saved to the cloud. Birth certificate, passport, everything. If you lose the original, no problem, just reprint it. That's exactly how digital scans work for your teeth and your smile. But it doesn't just stop there. Digital scans also unlocked 3D printing, making retainers faster, less expensive, and more durable than ever. So once we have a scan of your teeth, we can 3D print resin models. And these models are tough. Unlike stone models that break after one use, resin models can handle many retainers being made off of them. So if you're someone who tends to break or lose your retainers, and let's be honest, that's most people, you don't have to panic. In our office, we even have something called lifetime smile protection, where basically if you lose your retainer, crack it, or just want a fresh one, we can make you a new one at a minimal cost. No new impressions, no drama, no guilt trip. And the cool thing is, these 3D models can be printed in less than 30 minutes. So we're talking same-day solutions instead of waiting for weeks. And retainers are honestly just the beginning. Scanners now let us simulate your future smile, design aligners, and even monitor your treatment remotely. They've completely changed the game and the way we do orthodontics. We can use them to digitally plan braces or even design and customize clear aligners. In fact, we just did a whole video on this, and what you learn may surprise you. You can check it out right here. We can also actually simulate your before and after smile with a digital scan. We can use them to monitor treatment remotely, checking in on progress without you always having to come into the office. It's like having a 3D blueprint of your smile that we can use for whatever treatment you need. Braces, clear aligners, expanders, appliances, you name it. And let's not forget something underrated. Scanners are simply cleaner and safer. No plaster, no chemicals, no waste. So we don't have that plaster dust, no stone, no messy impression material. Nothing has to be shipped, nothing has to be stored in a box somewhere. It's better for the environment and better for the team and better for you. So scanners versus impressions, which one wins? After looking at comfort, accuracy, and reliability, the answer is pretty clear. For me, it's not even close. Digital scanning is more comfortable, more accurate, and more efficient, and way more flexible. That's why we don't even keep impression materials in our office anymore. No gagging, no goop, no waste, just better results, a better experience, and a better way forward. My name is Dr. Jeremy Manueli. Thanks again for watching, and if this video was helpful, be sure to subscribe, because like always, your smile is worth doing right. I'll see you in the next one.